What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here. The Premier League is back this weekend. We have got a massive game up at Anfield against Liverpool, a team who have won every single game apart from their last game actually this season, which they drew away at Manchester United. We've just come off the back of a 5-0 win. It's a long time coming. You know, Spurs are in terrible form in the Premier League. Liverpool probably in the best form in the Premier League. It's going to be a very interesting game.
Yeah, let's get into the lineup. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, let's get into the lineup. I'm feeling it's going to be very similar to the lineup that we played against Red Star Belgrade. Yeah, I think it's going to be a 4-2-3-1 formation.
Yeah, I think last season at Anfield went for a 3 at the back, but I think this season, I think seeing how we played on Wednesday, I think we just got to stick with that formation for the time being and just see how it goes. I think that's probably the best way of counteracting Liverpool, or best way of getting the best out of our team. I think you've got to forget about them for a bit and just concentrate on ourselves. And yeah, I think obviously Gaz is going to start in goal for sure. Obviously he has to. Laurie's still injured. Right back's an interesting one, isn't it? Because there's potential of 3 players. Aurier played well against Red Star. Yeah. Everyone knows that Aurier's up and down season so far. With Foyth back in contention, you got to think maybe he'll be thinking about him, and especially because Foyth is a bit better defensively, and also he's centre back, so aerially where Liverpool is so strong, Foyth will be to have an advantage there. But I feel like he will still stick by Aurier.
Did Foyth play right back there last year?
No,
it was Trippier.
Yeah,
and we've also got Kyle Walker-Peters as well.
He looks out of the picture at the moment.
Yeah, he does.
He's not in the squad at any points. Not that I don't think he's been particularly bad whenever he's played. But
but he hasn't been particularly good.
That's the thing. He's just been a bit average. Yeah. You know, he wouldn't look out of place like a championship team. In all honesty, it's harsh because he hasn't done badly, but he just doesn't. He doesn't instill you with a lot of confidence at right back that he has that authority in his game to really dominate that right hand side. Really, when he gets into the final third, have that confidence to take people on, get crosses in the box. All he can kind of do is fill a position and kind of do a job at right back, which
a bit like Carl Norton used to do. Really.
Yeah, exactly. Like Carl Norton wasn't an awful player, but he just wasn't particularly good at anything. Which I feel like I fear Kyle Walker-Peters is going into that category.
I agree with you.
And the fact is, he's not 18, 19. He's 22 now, isn't he? So he's not exactly the youngest of players. So I can understand where Pochettino's coming from, not really putting him in too much.
So who are we going for?
But I do feel a bit bad for him. I feel Aurier.
All right. So Aurier right back, left back. Toss up between Danny Rose and Ben Davis, potentially Ryan Sessegnon.
No, Sessegnon doesn't have a chance to play, in my opinion, because he hasn't played a minute for Spurs yet. Rose, I think you've got to play Davis. I think defensively he's more sound. I think that we're going to need that in this kind of game. We're going to need someone not necessarily marauding forward the whole time and maybe checking back in his position, watching Salah all the time. And I feel like Rose really hasn't had a good start to the season.
Rose has let himself down.
Not that Davis has been any that much better, but I think he has been.
He had a good game against Red Star. Davis.
He did, but before he played against Colchester and he played against I can't remember who else and he didn't have a great game. I think Olympiacos. He didn't have a great game there either. But I think I'd go with Davis in this game. But we know Pochettino does like to rotate his fullback to midweek. But I think he'll stick with Davis.
I'm a bit fed up of Danny Rose at the moment, to be honest. I think his performances don't warrant a place in the team whatsoever. So anyway. So let's go for Ben Davis. Centre backs is another interesting one.
I think Sanchez, you got to play him. I think the Toby Yan partnership might be I think so. I think it's been and gone maybe at its peak. I don't think that partnership really worked. I don't know about these big games. I know we could play 3 at the back, but I think we will go 2. I think Sanchez and Toby should be the pairing.
I agree, and I just don't think Vertonghen's cutting it at the moment. I was calling for Alderweireld and Sanchez to be centre-backs against Red Star. It was Vertonghen. I felt Vertonghen was probably our poorest player on the night, and I think...
He did keep a clean sheet, though.
He did keep a clean sheet, but having said that, I do think he was out of place a lot of times. Gazzaniga had to shout in his ear.
And I like that from Gazzaniga. It shows a bit of authority from him.
We wouldn't see Hugo doing that.
Yeah, because Hugo is a bit different. He's a bit of a quiet leader from the back. But I like Gazza, who's not afraid to kind of get at more senior players when they feel like they've made a mistake, which is good. A good sign for the future that maybe he has the capability of being our keeper. But we'll have to wait and see on that.
And also Vertonghen, I felt like he's lost about 4 or 5 yards of pace, and against Liverpool's pacey attack, it's going to be very dangerous. So I'm going for Toby and Sanchez.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that should be the pairing for Sunday.
And I think the rest of the team kind of picks itself. I think we should go exactly the same team from then on as we played against Red Star.
Double pivot with Tongi and Musso, who did so well on Wednesday or Tuesday.
Especially
Tuesday?
Tongi.
Tuesday. And I think Delhi in that attacking midfield position where he can always slot back and make a 3 and always push forward and support Kane and the other players. So I think that's a very good option. Obviously, there's a bit of a he does like starting Winks in these big games, so there's a feeling that maybe one of Lamela, Son or Delhi will come out for Winks and maybe make a 3.
If it's any of those 3, it's got to be Delhi. But
yeah, because I feel like we need that the creativity of someone like Lamela and Son and the pace and directness that they can offer in the attack. So I don't want either of them coming out of the team, especially the energy they bring as well on the pressing game. Yeah. I think we need those 2 in there. So whether it's either Delhi or Winks, in my opinion.
Well, for argument's sake, let's go for Delhi.
Yeah.
So Delhi in that kind of number 10 role. On the right-hand side of the attack, it's got to be Eric Lamela.
Yeah, who's I think one of our most informed attackers this season. So I think he's got to continue there. And I think we're going to need that energy because he brings so much work and hard graft that when Liverpool are building up ahead of steam, they're building up their attacks. You need even just someone disrupting it every now and then. It's so important, and I think Lamela is so good at that, especially in the big games. So,
and the left-hand side of the attack is going to be Heung-min Son. What more needs to be said about that guy? He's just absolutely sensational against Red Star.
I think the vital thing with Son is as well that the Liverpool attackers love to get forward, and they're going to, however good they are going forward, they do leave space in behind. And that's where Son could exploit them. And I remember, what was it, against Arsenal, where so many opportunities we had was to get Son in behind, and we did get him in behind a few times, but we had so many more times that he was just in so much space. And if we could get in the right positions, counter-attack effectively, Son could really be the key in this game.
And it's like Liverpool's defence last year was so mean, and I think, I'm not sure the reasoning for it, but I think this year they're leaking a few more goals than they did last season.
Yeah, they're not looking so impenetrable at the back. They are still winning games. They're more outscoring the opposition than keeping clean sheets. They used to keep a lot of clean sheets last season. They aren't conceding loads of goals. It's usually like 1 a game they're conceding. But I agree with you, it's more leaky than last season.
And then up top, obviously, Harry Kane,
exactly.
Who had another sensational game on midweek. So
it's going to be a tough game. Obviously Van Dijk up against Van Dijk and Matip, and they're
Kane's dribbled past Van Dijk before. We've seen it all.
Yeah, for Southampton, that's right. But I think it's going to be a tough ask for him. I'd like to see him in kind of like that, dropping a bit deep and then having Son and Lamela run beyond him and trying to find them in the fullback positions.
It needs to be that all-action Harry Kane that we love to see, pressing from the front, taking shots from far, dropping deep, playing those lovely crossfield balls that we see from Harry Kane. It needs to be completely all-action from him. But let's just run through the team lineup once again. It's Gazaniga in goal. Right back of Serge Aurier, left back of Ben Davis, with centre backs of Davinson Sanchez and Toby Alderweireld, with a double pivot of Tanguy Ndombele and Moussa Sissoko, with Son, Lamela and Delhi in behind Harry Kane.
And then it also gives us great options off the bench with Lucas, Lo Celso and Eriksen, all potential players to come off the bench if we need it, if we need a goal, if we're losing or whatever. So, and Winks as well, and if we need to gain some control in that midfield. So it gives us good options off the bench. Obviously, look, we all know that it's going to be a tough ask to get anything from this game, but there's no reason why we can't go to Anfield without the realistic option of maybe nicking a point, because we've we've gone there before, not in the best of form, and always shown a good performance. And even this season, away from home, we went into Arsenal, went into City, got a point in both those games where we didn't, haven't been playing particularly well. So who knows?
Yeah, I think that City one was more luck than anything else. The Arsenal one was an interesting one because I thought we played really well that first half. The only reason we didn't come away from the win, I think, is because Eriksen couldn't find Son every time he was in behind.
Yeah, it was big, yeah.
But look, I'm by no means saying we're going to win this game, but I'm a lot more confident going into it than I was probably this time a week ago. So look, let's just go out there, let's give our best. Let the fans sing for 90 minutes, let the team go out there and show what they could do, and let's see what happens, really.
All right, we'll also have a match preview as well, so go check that out more in depth into this game. Let us know what you think the predicted lineup should be, and as always,
come on, you Spurs.